Ladies, gentlemen, I think I've discovered the best free portfolio tracker I have come by in a very long time from a company called Global Predictions that recently launched a product called WealthWise in Canada. And from somebody that's been managing a six-figure portfolio, manually inputting the data into a spreadsheet that doesn't really take into consideration not only the individual holdings in that ETF, but also my real estate, my crypto, and all that other stuff. Whereas WealthWise seamlessly brings this together, shows me how those individual components may overlap in those ETFs, and it also gives me a portfolio score, taking in my own personal risk tolerance, some macroeconomic data to give me a better idea of how to diversify and just offer me suggestions in a path that might be best suited for my overall portfolio. So I'm going to be breaking down this platform today, showing you guys how I use it, how to set it up, and if that is a conversation you can appreciate, in return I simply ask that you hit that like button, folks. So let's get right into this. So first and foremost, let's set up the account. Let me show you what makes this platform so unique. I'm going to leave the link to Global Predictions, this product called WealthWise, in the description there. But once you get through the formalities, the email, the password, you're going to kind of get into this prompt of questioning, like what kind of investor are you? Personally, individual for me. And again, this is just to figure out your current risk tolerance. So question number 2, what is your primary source of income? I'm going to say employment. What is your current investment strategy? I'm going to say traditionally diversified because I'm not really concentrated in high risk. What level of risk are you comfortable investing with? Here's conservative, moderately aggressive, and very aggressive. So this is really just going to be from personal preference. Personally, I'm going to say I'm moderately conservative here because I'm not too aggressive anymore. Let's be real. And then how did you hear about Global Predictions? Well, hopefully you're going to state social media, and we'll keep moving forward here. So this is where we're going to actually start breaking down the individual components of your portfolio. I'm not based in the US, so I'm first and foremost going to edit the currency to Canadian. And this is where we're going to start inputting the data. And there's a few ways to go about this. If we're going to add securities, the easiest thing to do is just put in your financial institution. They have 12,000, so I'm confident they have yours. I'm personally using Wealthsimple. It'll ask you to connect the selected institution. Hit connect. It's going to ask you to log in, and it'll auto pull the data, which I've already done. Now, there is another option as well for manual input up at the top right. If I scale my head out of the way, which let's say we're using Wealthsimple, we can just put that in as the name of the portfolio description. Let's say it's a self-directed account, and we can go ahead and submit, and then we can start putting in the individual proponents themselves. So let's say I own VOO, the S&P 500 ETF. We can click add the amount of the value. Let's say we've got $50,000 in there. We can hit update, and then finally we can add in everything else. So let's say we own Apple as well. Let's say we have $5,000 worth of Apple stock. And then as soon as we're done updating this and adding the individual components, we can just click close, and it'll auto add those to the portfolio for us. Then what we can do is go back and we can add in all of our real estate, our crypto, private equity, our cash position, and we can go ahead and click I've entered my net worth, and it's going to start putting all of this together for you, which I've already done this, and we're going to jump into my own individual brokerage account and show you some of the features. Now, there's a few reasons I believe this is the best portfolio tracker, but first and foremost, taking a look at the dashboard with my net worth portfolio being around $360,000, it gives me a forecasted return of 4% over the next 12 months with my current holdings, including that portfolio score, which is based off my own risk tolerance in this current macro environment. It's going to offer me suggestions on what I can do to better adjust my portfolio, which we'll talk about in a second. But as I mentioned, the big problem with being an ETF investor is sometimes you might not see how those individual stocks in those ETFs may overlap. And what this does is it'll actually break them all down and bring them into a buy holdings metric here, showing me exactly what ones or what stocks in those ETFs are the largest, with right now mine being Royal Bank, which is a huge exposure to an ETF I hold called VDY. But obviously we get all the sector exposure, the country exposure. But if we scroll down into the advanced analytics, one of the really cool things is this kind of chart that not only shows in the blue dots my individual holdings, but how they kind of correlate to the rest of the economy when we're talking about CPI data in the United States, to kind of government debt and all this other stuff, which is really neat with my Canadian holding VDY, because a lot of the components in there, like Enbridge, are largely globally diversified in the Canada and the US. So it shows you how all of these things relate together. But what you can do if we go back to the overview and we see the score, my basic, portfolio score, it's going to show me where I might have a little bit of issues. And one of them for me is the downside protection. So if we go into an improved score, it'll take me to the analysis page where it'll show me and kind of give me recommendations about why I'm underweighted here and what I can do to optimize the portfolio, whether it's lowering some weightings or increasing other weightings. It's just a very neat platform. And if we take it even one step farther and go into the recommendations, I always find it incredible that it offers me recommendations that I'm actually looking for. So to increase the diversification, I don't have a lot of exposure to basically, mid cap or small cap. And I also want more exposure to technology because I'm largely weighted financials. So it gives me a little bit of in-depth knowledge here as well on these different technology ETFs that I could be interested in. But this is just the start. If you are a lot more technical, there's a tab up here called Economy Exploration, where it pulls an insane amount of data out of global economic circumstances from CPI data, I think even real estate data, GDP, unemployment, inflation. We can go into financial markets, look at commodities, all these individual ETFs, and we can run specific analysis. We can check out opportunities, and this is just the free version of this. You usually have to spend hundreds of dollars to get access to data like this, which I find very intriguing that they do have more advanced options within their current product lineup. But for right now, if you guys just want to test it out, again, I'm leaving the link in the description below. I'd love to know what you think of this platform, and I'm going to start using it to basically analyze and break down my portfolio on this channel. But I passed the question off to you. I'd love to know what you guys think about Global Predictions Wealthwise product. In light of this, stay cool, stay awesome, and as always, I look forward to catching you in the next one.